Hey, it's Neckbeard Storytime, Elwood Crips. I'm your guide, Q, and let's just get into it. Alright, so this story's called College Weirdo Wanted a Gamer Girlfriend, and it's sad because statistically there should be enough gamer GFs for all of us out there, but sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. Hi everyone, first time posting on this subreddit, so enjoy this story, I guess. It's pretty weird. So, to set the scene, the characters in this story are as follows. Me, who I'll refer to as GM for Grim Meeper, who at the time was 16 years old. Weirdo, who I'll rename Rick. Bat, standing for boyfriend at the time. So, it's my first week at college and I'm in math class. I'm pretty introverted and have not really been in a room with so many new people before, so I was determined to make a good first impression. The girl who sat next to me on my table wasn't particularly nice to me, so I gave up on trying to befriend her quite quickly. Instead, I tried talking to the two guys that were sat a few desks away. One was pretty passive and chill, and the other was very enthusiastic about talking to me. This was Rick. I didn't think anything of his enthusiasm, I was just happy that someone actually seemed to want to talk to me. And at this time, the guy didn't really look like a typical neckbeard either. He kind of looked like Pro Jared, but if Pro Jared was short and had short blonde hair, acne, and wore the same gray tracksuit every day. Everything was totally fine and normal for a while, and I even moved desks so that I could sit next to my math buddies. I'll call him Rick in this story, though, because he was a great physicist and physics enthusiast. His words, which I found funny considering we were in a maths catch-up class, and oftentimes would try to find loopholes in Marvel heroes' superpowers for fun, that sort of thing, which was kind of annoying. However, during these conversations, one day I made a critical mistake. I told Rick I play video games. I randomly joked that Bloodborne made my blood pressure go through the roof because it was so stressful, and that's when I suddenly noticed a change in Rick's behavior. His eyes lit up and his expression looked immediately a lot more interested and attentive. Straight away, he started telling me about how I was, quote, officially the coolest girl he knew, and started complimenting me a lot, especially about my appearance. Suffice to say, I got very uncomfortable very quickly, but I hadn't learned that I could say no to people when they were bothering me yet, so I always just laughed him off and tried to change the subject. I still didn't have many people I would talk to at college yet either, so I didn't feel like I could just cut him off. Stupid, I know. Then he started trying to be a gentleman. He would run across the room to open doors for me, even when I had my hand on the handle and was about to open them myself, like full-on drop whatever conversation he was involved in to duck under my arm and slam his entire body into them. He would even follow me down the corridors and do this before turning around and going back the other way. He needed to go the other way. He followed me in the wrong direction so that he could open doors for me, which was super odd. He also insisted on waiting for me to get my things together after class so he could walk me across campus, which I was very annoyed by, but still didn't feel I could tell him to stop it. I just started packing my backpack up a lot more slowly in the hope that he would get impatient and leave before me. He would compliment anything remotely nerdy I did, had, or said, whether it was a game or movie reference or a game-related t-shirt I was wearing. Cut to one day when I was talking to Bat. Rick spotted us and came over to talk to me, and I was surprised to find out that he and Bat knew each other from school, where Rick incessantly picked on Bat. Conversely, Rick was very surprised to learn that me and Bat were dating, and had been for a while. He then started screeching about how he couldn't believe it, and yelling at Bat, "How did you land her? How did you manage to get that?" over and over again. All Bat could do was shrug, obviously getting more embarrassed the more vocal Rick got, so I put a stop to it. I was annoyed at Rick's behavior towards someone I cared about, so I told him to stop, and Bat was nice. That stopped Rick in his tracks, and he looked quite put out. He came back briefly while me and Bat were eating lunch together, where he was wildly stood gesturing his disbelief. He ran away as soon as he saw that I'd seen him. Did the knowledge that I was in a relationship deter him? Not even a little bit. This was Rick that we're talking about here. In fact, his behavior actually got worse. Once I was heading up a staircase to a different class and I heard a voice shouting, "Hey, GM, you look good today. Like, really good. Really good." I looked up and saw him camping out at the top of the stairs. It really scared me. He also shouted to me and hugged me on the street whenever he saw me, even if I was out with friends or family. The final straw came soon after. I was sat on my desk one morning, spacing out as I often do, when I suddenly felt something on the back of my head sliding down my neck and shoulders. I snap out of my spacing and turn around, and Nick is standing uncomfortably close behind me. He's running his hands through my hair and stroking my shoulder and the side of my face. I was completely frozen and bewildered and had no idea how to respond to this. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me he was adjusting my hair and flipped it over my shoulder. He gave me the creepiest smile and said, "There, you look much prettier now." I felt really nasty and slimy, and I feel really nasty and slimy just thinking about it now. Thankfully, though, the teacher stepped in. He told Rick to stop what he was doing and not touch me again. Rick argued that he had spatial awareness disorder and that my teacher not being right was bothering him, but the teacher wasn't having any of it. After class, the teacher pulled me aside and made Rick, who was waiting for me, leave the room while he spoke to me. I was terrified I'd done something wrong, but instead he asked me if I was okay. He told me that he was a dad of a teenage girl himself, and that seeing boys harass his female students particularly pissed him off as a result, and then asked me if I wanted him to keep an eye on Rick for me. He was very encouraging, and his support honestly surprised me. I told him that I was okay and that Rick was mostly harmless, but the teacher told me he'd keep an eye out anyway, as he knew that behavior could escalate. He also apologized for the stalker joke he made, as he now realized it may have been in poor taste. Rick grilled me about what the teacher had said to me. He was waiting outside the classroom for me, but I was evasive. I left that college soon after anyway, so thankfully I never saw Rick again, and he had no way to keep in contact with me. So I just want to say, major shout out to that teacher stepping in and doing something. I know there are a lot of great teachers out there, but I've also seen a lot of teachers do absolutely nothing in obvious situations where something really bad was going on. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal with Rick is. He seems like that gentle sir sort of type, and, he's clearly convinced that your boyfriend is not good enough for you, and that he is the true, ultimate gentleman, and that you really deserve a guy like him. And, I'm glad that he really can't contact you anymore, and that you ended up switching colleges. That's definitely the best case scenario. Alright, this one's called a Discord server of neckbeards. Right, so my ex-girlfriend and I used to join random Discord servers and socialize a little bit. On one, she became very popular with those neckbeard weirdo types, and they started calling themselves her cult. And at a point, some of them thought it would be a good idea to start flirting with her. As a response, I half-jokingly said, "Hey, calm down, she's mine." And these dipshits started going on some BS rant about, "Oh, women aren't property, you're abusive, she isn't yours, leave him, leave him, leave him." All that BS. Not realizing that me and her were together in real life, and she wasn't gonna leave me for some sweaty, hairy 30-year-old living in his mother's basement preaching about women's rights in a pitiful attempt to get laid. Alright, this sentence is extremely confusing, so bear with me. Anyways, the next day I woke up to find out I'd been banned from the server. Turns out, a ton of these Kevins had reported to get me kicked, and because it was a democracy, they must have thought that me being kicked would halt our relationship or something. But she left too, on her own. And that's basically the last thing I heard. It didn't even make me mad. It was funny and kind of pitiful. Edit, I'd like to clarify that she left the Discord server on her own, not by my suggestion. We broke up months later for unrelated reasons. Okay, so although this story is lacking some of, the intimate details I like to hear about, I really like imagining scenarios like this, because you know that there are Discord servers out there where if a cute girl came in, it would, entirely change the server, and she would be their queen within a matter of days. And I just love the idea of them, voting on if to ban him or not, and hoping that that would affect her relationship. Oh, man, she just likes hanging out with the boys in the Discord server. If we kick him out, she's gonna have to choose us over him. So I was scrolling through Neckbeard Stories and I saw my name, and at first I got extremely scared, but this person is talking about an update to a story I did in one of my videos, where the author of the story had a brother that was a really bad neckbeard, refused to bathe, and the home situation was really bad, so they decided to give an update on the situation, and it's actually kinda hopeful. My neckbeard brother update. So I just saw my post on a Q-Star video and thought, well, I guess I could post a little update if anyone was curious about the development of my situation. Again, reminding everyone that I really do love my family and am close to them, so please no hate towards them, criticize the post however you like. Moving on to the meat and potatoes, here's the update. So, a lot of things have changed for my mother and brother's living arrangements since my last post. This part of the update might be long, but I think everything is a factor in the current situation. In the time my first post, my mother was living in a 5-bedroom house with 2 dependent 18-year-old boys who had a shared room. The fact that the twins have shared rooms literally their entire lives is kind of important. As of right now, the boys each have their own rooms, my younger sister 20 has moved back in, and a distant cousin 27 female is also staying there temporarily. Another big change has also been my mother's mood. I'm happy to say that she's been doing a lot better. She's moving a lot more and being more productive. Personally, I think the process of trying to get adult custody of the twins is really motivating for her to make such positive changes. Sorta like how inviting friends over might motivate some people to actually clean their houses. My mom has been cleaning her house and properly going through clutter that feels like it had been there forever. She gets so excited to tell me her progress and which closet she organized and how. She also put a lot of care in the decorating of each twin's bedroom with their likes in mind. She got Neckbeard a TV, a gaming system, a gaming chair, and an assortment of bed sheets that have WWE wrestlers. My brother adores it, and I'm super proud to say that whenever I pop in to visit his room, it's more or less clean. On my brother's side of things, I think having his own room is really making him try to be more independent. Because now the space he's in is truly his space and no one is responsible for it but him. For context, my older brother, who I will call BB, baby brother, my other brother, sorry, not older brother, has had in-home nurses since the day they left the hospital as infants. A nurse who would come to the house and be responsible for BB's personal care, and that included making sure that the room is neat and sanitary. It basically meant that for years the cleanliness of his room was not his responsibility. That added to the fact that he was sharing this space with another person who also made their own messes. Neckbeard had also been very close to my sister, and he looked up to her and her friend group. My sister is very social and my brother likes to tag along, and thankfully that seemed to be the motivation he needed to keep up his own personal care. Not to humble brag, but I've also been taking more initiative to spend time with my family now that I've finally gotten 80% of my shit together. Mostly I either just visit or I'll take one of my days off to invite all my siblings over for a sleepover. All of these little things have had such a huge impact on both Neckbeard and DM. I think DM was Desperate Mom, or I forget exactly what the thing was, but it's the mom who's just struggling with this whole situation. In the end, I think it was just a bad situation that had gone on for too long for my mom to see how bad it really was. That and the fact that my brother might have had his own form of depression that just makes personal care feel pointless. Of course, I'm not naive enough to think that this is a happy ending by any means, but I'm not so much of a skeptic as to see the potential for one. My mom is doing better and my brother is too, and I can't ask for more than that. This was very condensed telling of all the things currently happening for both my less insane parent and my less neckbeard brother. TLDR, my mom is no longer bathing my 18-year-old brother. Also, for anyone who watched Q-Star's video, I just wanted to say that I wasn't posting to hurt or expose anyone, but I'm not worried about anyone I know seeing it and won't mind if they did. I made the original post because I didn't want to talk about it to anyone IRL, and I needed to get it off my chest. I didn't even think anyone would acknowledge it. Even then, I still give Q-Star and any other YouTuber my permission to read any of my posts if they'd like to. And it actually, I don't know, this follow-up totally warms my heart, and, I'm sorry if I was a dick in my analysis of that first story, but I totally get what you're talking about when you can't talk about certain things IRL, and maybe, frustrations are mounting at home, and then sometimes when you tell this story about it, you make your family out to sound way worse than they are, or make it out to seem like you dislike your family, when really you're just frustrated with what's currently going on. So yeah, I'm just super happy for OP here and everybody in their family. A lot of these Neckbeard stories do not have happy endings, and like they said, this isn't a full-on happy ending, but sometimes progress is the best sort of happy ending you're going to get, so it's really cool to see that things are getting better. Hey, if you like neckbeard cringe, I've got like a big old playlist of it that you can check out. It'll come up in the top right corner of your screen. Having said that, I'd like to give a major shout out to Hannah, Matthew Kendall, Caitland, Beth the Dork, Ashton Jacobson, June, ... Rocket Fist Rick, Alicia, Kennedy DeSilvis, Tay P, Hyper Ninja Child, Jared D, Regrettable Stitches, Allison B, Kaya Bay, Brittany, and Catco, as well as everyone else you see on your screen for being top tier channel members. Thank you guys very much. Also, for those of you who care, I made a channel for like all of my assorted music stuff. I posted yesterday about working a lot. My band is going to be playing our first show, which I'm freaking out about. And a lot of people asked where they could find my music. There's going to be like probably maybe one song up on this channel when this video comes out, but it's just going to be a bunch of stuff that I've been working on. And then additionally, there might be like official band audio on there at some point. So check that out if you're interested. It'll be in the description and the comments down below. I hope everybody's skating onto their abilities, drinking a sufficient amount of water, and I'll see you super soon. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Take it easy. Keep it sleazy. Just keep it going. Yeah.